Welcome to JWL Sports, where we review all the best sports clips from around the country. We're with First Things First, talking about the Bills beating the Steelers. Let's just get right into it right away.
Are you finally impressed with Josh Allen and the Bills?
Oh, I was super impressed yesterday. I thought that was a great win. They took care of the ball. They controlled the game start to finish. They didn't turn it over. They dealt with the elements. Even when the Steelers put up a fight at the end, the Steelers never, had a lead or even tied the game in the second half. They won by 14. Now, listen, I know you guys were not impressed.
I knew it.
I
knew something was
What do you mean?
I knew
I was
something.
waiting, I was waiting for the but.
There's no but. I found a 14.
He's going to act like that. He wants to say that this victory, I haven't seen this clip, he wants to act like this victory was impressive, so therefore he wants to try to say that this Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes was even more impressive because they won by more points, which is so asinine and makes no sense. They played the Miami Dolphins, who already had one of the league's worst defenses from points allowed perspective. And that was without all of the injuries that the Dolphins already had. The Dolphins already had a ton of injuries. They had 25 sacks worth of players just gone, scrapped, not playing. If you don't think that matters, then I don't know what to tell you. Seriously, if you don't think that matters, then I don't know why you're watching this video right now, honestly. And so it makes no sense. Josh Allen had better numbers, better stats, better production, better everything than Patrick Mahomes, and it was against a team that was top 10 in points allowed. He did significantly better, and it's not even close. Yes, Watt was injured for the Steelers. I understand that. Yes. But still, that defense for the Steelers is undeniably better, and they were overall healthier than Miami Dolphins. Can't be disputed. It just can't be disputed. I mean, it really can't. And Josh Allen absolutely balled out. Patrick Mahomes didn't. You don't watch that game and say, wow, Patrick Mahomes balled out. Okay? You just don't. What was it? 4 touchdowns or 4 field goals and like a touchdown or something? I forget exactly what it was, but let's stop pretending like what Patrick Mahomes did was anything special. And also let's not pretend that the weather was perfect for Buffalo. Again, it's not like Buffalo played in 70-degree weather here, so makes no sense.
Point win over the 10-win 7 seed. Incredibly impressive. But I know the standard for this show is much higher. The standard for this show is a 19-point win over the 11-win 6 seed was not impressive. So I was impressed. Wilds could be impressed. I assume Brew and Coach were not that impressed.
It's good that you brought it up and compared it to the Chiefs.
Yeah, and we can show.
I honestly felt about this game with Buffalo.
Because they did nothing more impressive than Kansas City.
I felt just like I felt with the Chiefs game. I mean, honestly, I felt
that's
like
totally
you're
fair.
playing a team that's not dangerous. Now, I didn't say there's a 0% chance they'll beat you, but Miami wasn't dangerous in my view. Pittsburgh wasn't dangerous. You beat them in workman-like fashion.
Yeah.
I
thought agree.
I felt like, okay, just like the Chiefs, they went out and did what they were supposed to do. The one thing about Buffalo, though, Coach, I don't believe in momentum with them. If they played awesome yesterday, that doesn't mean I'm thinking, or maybe anybody's thinking, they're going to play awesome the next week. If they had looked horrible last night and won, that doesn't mean they're going to look horrible the next game. To me, they're every day, even in the game, you saw various ups and downs. They looked great initially and then let Pittsburgh get back in the game and obviously close it out comfortably. But it was Josh obviously was good, so was Shakir and Diggs. The receivers I thought were good.
So Brew was, kind of nonplussed by the Chiefs, nonplussed by the Bills. I was impressed by both. Coach was disappointed in the Chiefs yesterday because he has such high expectations for Patrick Mahomes. Yep. I'm very curious what you thought of the Bills game yesterday.
Well, I'm glad you asked because I am impressed by the Bills.
Who could have saw it coming?
Because their star quarterback played like a star.
Yep.
We've been talking about how they've won over the course of time, and now they're in the playoffs, and their star quarterback looked exactly like that. 3 touchdowns throwing the ball, 1 touchdown running the ball, which was the second longest run ever by a quarterback, and no turnovers. So that part to me was very impressive. The other part that was impressive is this is a team that's been riddled by injuries. They get A.J. Klein off his RV as he's headed down to Key West to come in and play, and he leads the team in tackles. Not only leads the team in tackles, leads both teams in tackles. So it's dealing with that adversity, and then this is what you want. You want your elite players to be elite in these moments, and he was. And maybe my expectation for Patrick Mahomes is different than yours.
No, maybe
I expect him to be a star.
Listen, you're over the moon with 200 yards passing by Josh Allen, so maybe your expectations are too low for him.
But you're playing an absolutely depleted Miami defense. Absolutely
guys, can we not?
Josh was better than Patrick.
Hold on. Can we not? If we're going to talk about Miami's defense, then we've got to. Okay, but again, the question was about the teams, not about the individual quarterbacks. Like, you guys might be quarterback-focused guys.
With the team.
But if we're going to do the Miami injury thing, then you must include this fact that the Pittsburgh Steelers going into this game were 1-10 without T.J. Watt.
Right.
They did not have T.J. Watt, and they're now 1-11. So I understand Miami had more injuries. Pittsburgh had arguably the league's best defensive player, who they, for some reason, cannot win a single.
Was it 25 sacks worth? Did T.J. Watt have 25 sacks last season? I'm not sure. Can you guys let me know? Because I'm not sure. Did he have 25 sacks last season? I don't think so.
Solitary game without him there. And so I thought the Bills' offense was much more impressive than the Chiefs' offense this weekend. But I thought the Bills' defense, maybe it's because of injuries, but those injuries are not going to solve themselves in the next 5 days. I thought the Bills' defense, once again, looked like a defense that can be exploited, while the Chiefs' defense for the, 19th straight week looks great.
This guy literally was preparing his family to go to Key West when they called him up and said, hey, can you come up here? He's like, yeah, and he leads the team in tackles. So for the coaching staff to be able to implement him into the defense, for him to be able to play at that level, and I understand that Pittsburgh may not be the most explosive offense world. I get it. But when you're dealing with guys just off the street, it's hard to make it all work.
That's why I was so impressed.
Coach, I want to drill down on a specific play. It's a story in 3 parts. First part of the story is Kenny Pickett, ironically, who did this fake slide. Was it 2 years in college? So they ended up changing this rule because it's basically cheating. So Josh Allen last night, we're in the, what quarter are we in there? We're in the second quarter, where Josh Allen doesn't fake slide, but he does hit the brakes. Maybe it was incidental, maybe it was not. But it turns into a long run. And then later in the game, in the fourth quarter, he has a run here where he ends up getting a late.
They don't show the
hit
highlights on the
sliding.
YouTube videos.
Do you think it just rubbed me the wrong way? Where Pickett's thing was obviously egregious and
So
led to a
dumb.
rule change.
It's the NFL's
But
stupid rules.
How are you defending Josh Allen where you don't want to get a penalty, you don't want to get thrown out of the game, but you have to go after him, especially if he's starting and stopping?
Josh Allen didn't do anything illegal or sketchy.
I do think those 2 runs were pretty different. Like in this run, that's how he cuts. He's not being a high cut athlete, and as big as he is, it's not.
You're trying to make
that smooth when he transitions.
You're trying to make a story into that's nothing. I mean, like no one even brought that up because it's not even close. He didn't fake slide, and then do what he did. He like slowed down because he was like waiting to kind of see what was going to happen, and then he like booked it. So like that, now you're just making something up that like doesn't exist. So like that doesn't make any sense.
A legitimate cut right here as opposed to him faking a slide. And the other one, I thought he was clearly going down.
Yeah. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
Just by watching this, and it's such a difficult thing for defenders because you're trying to protect the first, stop the first down. You're trying to deal with a running quarterback that has consistently run throughout the course of the game, and then you're being asked to protect him as a runner.
Which you tried to do here.
It's a tough spot for defenders to be in.
I agree with you, Coach. That's not completely definitive. Was he faking like
I thought it was smart. I thought he was slowing down for that exact purpose to try to deke them off. Yes, I thought it was smart.
And that's the thing.
The long run was,
I thought it was intentional and smart.
It's not fair. As you said, like a defender, and I've seen so many where the quarterback slide and the defender comes in where I've thought, man, his momentum was going already. How could he avoid hitting the quarterback and they get flagged? So I think they got to do something because this this just wasn't fair. I don't
rubs.
think.
Listen, so it's the same thing. Mahomes doesn't do this, but Mahomes does this flirt with the sideline.
Yep.
Like
Right.
pretend
Stepping out.
I'm going to go out of
Right.
bounds, and then
2 more
you
yards.
let up, and then I keep going.
Yeah.
He scored a touchdown against the Titans in the AFC title game 5 years ago doing that. And so it rubs me the wrong way when there's a rule in place for player safety that then gets exploited. The thing that also rubs me the wrong way is I know people like, because Mahomes got that roughing the passer call this weekend. That was the second roughing the passer call he's gotten all year. This was Josh's 8th, and this was another one where, and I don't know if you want to review this or what, he tricked the ref into thinking his head got hit. And that's when he slung his head back when it didn't. And so if we're going to have things reviewable and we can now kick players out via review, you know what I mean, if they call a personal foul, then I do wonder if you call something like that, if they can buzz, for flopping, if they can buzz down and say, now maybe they would have said even
I
without.
don't want to
I
go
just
that
think
far.
it's hard to start regulating intent.
Right.
No, but he
and
didn't
it's
hit
so
him in the head.
subjective.
No,
But
I
a lot of
understand.
guys try to, do stuff like
Yeah.
I don't fault him for that, but you can't. Defenders are helpless.
But it'll also
if you're
give
like,
guys
if I hit him too hard and he starts going down, I might get a penalty.
We used to complain about it in the meeting rooms, and guys would complain about it. And Belichick's feeling was they didn't pay $10 billion to watch a 6-3 game. They want offense to win, and they want offense to win consistently.
Yeah, I mean, that's why the league has gone so heavy on offenses, because not only health, but also because of excitement. No one wants to watch a game that's 6-3 exactly, and no one wants to watch just, backup quarterback versus backup quarterback. I mean, this season had a lot of fun, exciting backup quarterback storylines, but people want to see Patrick Mahomes versus Josh Allen in the playoffs right now, right? I don't even know the backup quarterbacks for these two teams, so that just is what it is. For every Brock Purdy story, there's again some backup quarterback that you don't even know the name of. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to beat a dead horse over here, but please tell me, seriously, who thinks here that Patrick Mahomes looked better in this game? In his playoff game versus Josh Allen. Like when you really watch the game, if you really look at it from an unbiased view. And again, for me, for these two teams, I actually am really unbiased because I'm not from Buffalo. I don't have I'm not like rooting against Patrick Mahomes necessarily or rooting for Josh Allen. I rooted for Patrick Mahomes in one of the Super Bowls. Obviously not the one against the Eagles, but I rooted for him. Like, I'm not anti Patrick Mahomes. I think it was when Patrick Mahomes won his first Super Bowl against the 49ers. That's, I was rooting for him. So it's like, I'm not like this like random anti, Mahomes, or just one of those people that hates on Mahomes just because he's so good. That's not it. But you got to look at this like critically. Patrick Mahomes is obviously elite and has been playing elite, right? There's no disputing that. But this season has not been an elite year, and that playoff game was not an elite playoff game. It just wasn't. What Josh Allen did in the playoffs against the Steelers was way more impressive, and it wasn't particularly close. I mean, it just really wasn't. And I just think like I want to hear the argument. I like, what is the argument that Mahomes or the Chiefs had a more impressive win than the Bills? Because then this is what Mangini was also trying to emphasize, is that not only did they win, but also like their defense is also depleted, and they have a guy off of, who was taking his family on vacation, and then he led both teams in tackles. Like, that's really amazing and incredible. So, it's just one of those things where you have to kind of ask yourself, like, what are you more impressed by? Are you impressed that the Chiefs beat, the Miami? And again, Nick Wright wants to point out, oh, well, the Steelers are 1-whatever, with TJ Watt playing, with him not playing. And then it's like, but like, again, last week you pointed out how Tua can't play in cold weather, and how Miami in general can't play in cold weather, and so it's just like, so you have to be consistent with the parameters that we put on people in terms of evaluating. Both games and both teams involved in both games have their pros and cons, and the plus or minuses of, what helps them or what hurts them in any given game, right? What helps Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs is being home. Same thing with the Bills, both home. What helps, the Chiefs and the Bills having playing a bad defense that is also really badly injured. That helps them. What helps the Josh Allen versus the Steelers, having TJ Watt not play there, but still a potent defense, still one of the best defenses from points allowed in the NFL. And again, that's just one of those things. Yeah, I mean, it just really doesn't make sense to me. I'm really excited for this game coming up, and as I've already said, I just really hope I want both teams to be full strength. I know we're not going to get that, unfortunately, and it's I just really hope that the Bills defense can kind of stand up, because if the Chiefs get a win, because of that, and Nick Wright is obviously going to be doing his victory laps and stuff like that, it'll just feel like it won't feel equal again, and that's the thing that's annoying me. That's what's like really driving me crazy, is that Josh Allen, it's not been a fair fight against Patrick Mahomes for any of those playoff games. And it doesn't look like it's going to be a fair fight this time around either. Granted, this time he's home now, so that definitely kind of helps him. But those other two games, he was on the road. And again, he had an inferior team. No ifs, ands, or buts. Patrick Mahomes, for one of the games, had the fastest player on the planet. Okay? Tyreek Hill. All right? You're not winning that game without Tyreek Hill. You're also not winning those games without Travis Kelce, who currently will go down in books as the best tight end to ever play the game. You're not winning those games without the greatest head coach in the history of the NFL, Andy Reid, or at the very least, one of them. So again, these are not fair fights. So to keep acting like that these are two juggernauts going head to head, and that the only difference is that one quarterback is Patrick Mahomes and one quarterback is Josh Allen, so let's see who can play who. It's just not true, and it's a false narrative, false equivalency, and I am not going to allow it. So what do you all think? Who were you more impressed with? The Mahomes, Josh Allen, the Bills, or the Chiefs? Would love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments below, and please don't forget to subscribe. We are building an amazing community here, and it's really turning into something special. I want to build something that we genuinely feel really excited to be part of. Something that we can't wait to engage with and connect with. Something that I think we truly lack when interacting with the other channels on other platforms as well. So please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much, and see you next time.